I'm really fascinated with like what's left over, you know, culturally. Like the photographs that I have from that shoebox, I found in Haifa. I paid like $10 for them. And they're photographs of families that had moved into what became Israel at the time that my family had left. I'm interested in this theme of memory and how malleable memory can be, and the relationship between like personal memory and historical memories. I'm doing what's called a Xerox transfer. I had scanned and printed out these photos, and then I put this mat onto the image, press it onto this clay board, and then I kind of do this and leave it there for like 5 minutes, and then I'll scrape it away. It's kind of like an analog process, if you will. If you think of an image as like almost like a ruin, we don't really get the whole context. They're sometimes damaged, they're chipped. You need someone to explain them. But in the absence of someone explaining what the ruin is, how do you make meaning of it? I work predominantly as like a documentary editor and producer, and one of the big questions in documentary is, can you access authentic life experience, right? Can we actually document people as they are in the world? Part of my family is Palestinian, and particularly, you know, with Palestinians, this is a question that really resonates because there's such a disconnect between our personal memory banks versus the images that we're given. I've collected these photographs of everyday moments in like Haifa or Jerusalem or wherever because it's visual evidence of a kind of like collective memory. Ultimately, these clayboard pieces that I'm doing are more like studies, and I brought some canvases and I'll be doing paintings with some of this process. Artwork is kind of its own world, right? It's kind of its own thing in the world. And if I have to spend 20 minutes explaining why I made it or what it's doing, then I should probably make another artwork.
Are you crazy? We're Americans. Your daughter's an American.
When I was growing up, the movie Not Without My Daughter was kind of a big film. This film had special resonance for me because I came from a similar background.
When I think back, I don't know how I did it. I know it was because I didn't really know what was going to happen. I had to take it one moment at a time.
2 adaptations of the same novel. Takes footage from Not Without My Daughter, and it synthesizes it with footage of a documentary response made by the actual Iranian father called Without My Daughter, where he goes around Iran and he gives these presentations on how he's been slandered by the Hollywood movie. And so I synthesized the two to hopefully like create a new narrative.
With the little baby, and she went in a season that was very cold.
If you bring enough like conflicting sort of like cliches together, and expose them for what they are, is there something deeper that emerges. With this one, my challenge was like, okay, out of all these photos, what is my eye not really drawn to that indicates a sense of the space? I'm kind of doing the opposite of the sensibility that I have when I'm editing video, which is creating selects out of footage. You're like, that's a great soundbite. He didn't scratch his face there. The camera didn't move there. The sound is good there. And you take the best and you put it all together to create an assembly. And then the editor goes in and tightens it and tightens and tightens it. And so this is kind of an opposite process where you know, if this were a video, it would be the piece where the guy says, or, you know, the person has shaken the camera, or the sound, or we have out of focus shot of like the door. And can you generate a sense of place with those discarded elements?